Going to start with a couple photo ops first. Where's he here? Sure. Start with Darren and Brad. Go with Tata and Brad next. Carlos and Brad. And then we'll do all four together.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to start here with opening remarks from Darren and Carlos, and then we'll jump into questions. Please raise your hand. Let me know if you want to get in on a question. I'll put you in a queue. And then when asking the question, please state who it is for and your name and outlet. So, Darren, when you're ready, we'll start with you.
Afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming today. Excited to officially welcome Brad Guzan to Atlanta United. It's exciting times for us at the moment in our inaugural season. Obviously, the fans have been unbelievable, as you all know. It's been incredible to be leading the league in attendance, on track to set a record with over 46,000, which is just unbelievable as a first-year club. And then sort of on the field, we're really excited. Our team came back this morning, the under-16s. We've just won the national championship, so we're excited to welcome them back to the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground. And on the field, to be in fourth place at the halfway stage is something to be really proud of as an expansion team. We've talked a lot about how it was going to take time as a new team gelling together. And we feel we're going to improve as the season goes on, as the years go on, as we become a club that has more and more of a foundation and a footing. And so today's moment is an example of that, where we're always looking to evolve the squad. And so for us to get a player like Brad Guzan, someone for us who ticks the sort of three boxes that we need. Firstly, his playing on the pitch. I mean, this is a guy who's played over 150 times in the Premier League. So he's played at a top level, over 50 times for his country. Secondly, it's the leadership qualities that Brad brings to us. So the fact that he's captained his country, just like Carlos Bocanegra, our technical director. He's also played in MLS, similar to Carlos, started his career in MLS, played abroad and is coming back. And for us, that's really important because we've spoken about this. We've got a young core of a team that's our young sort of South American players, but we need that MLS experience. We need that know-how and savvy in the locker room that can give that sort of composure when it's needed, who's been there, seen there, done it. And the final thing for Brad, and I'll let Carlos talk a little bit more because he obviously knows Brad a lot better than I do, but his character was really important to us. So as we've built this club, the way that we've built it, the connection we're trying to build with the fans, with the community, it was really, really important that we have players that have got great character. And in Brad, we've got someone that we know ticks that box as well. So for us, this is an exciting day. We're really pleased to have him here, ready to play in our first sort of rivalry game against Orlando on the weekend. And so I'll hand over to Carlos for a few more words.
Yeah, thanks, Darren. No, as Darren spoke about, Brad immediately elevates the level of play on this team and the competition on this team. I've been fortunate enough to know him for a long time and play alongside him and play against him. And look, Brad's a fierce competitor. But what he's going to bring is a high character, high leadership. He's a great teammate, right? And which is super important to us as a young club, a young team. In the dressing room, we're going to be counting on him in there, and on the field as well. Something that we liked about Brad was that his presence that he'll have on the field, commanding his box, giving confidence to the defenders, giving confidence to the team. And something I spoke about as well in the locker room is where we're going to need him to be a big part of the team. You've got guys like Michael Parkhurst, Jeff Laronowitz, who have played in MLS before. Brad has that MLS experience, but Brad also has the experience of 2 World Cups, Confederations Cups, playing in the Olympics. So you bring a little bit different skill set as far as a leadership role and experiences he's had as a player. which is going to be great to us. So, look, for us, when we had the chance to acquire Brad, it was a no-brainer. We're excited to have him here on the field, in the locker room. He can be great in the community as well. So, we want to welcome you, and we look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Thank you very much.
Question here from IJ.
Hey, IJ Rosenberg, Score Atlanta, also working on a book on the team. Brad, did you ever think when you decided to come here that you'd be walking into a $60 million facility as well as a team that's number 4, in the conference, an expansion team? Did you ever in your wildest dreams think that would be a situation that you'd walk into?
At first, no, but after having the conversations with Carlos, with Darren, and understanding what the plan was and what the vision was of this club, and moving forward, and how they were going to build a base and then build on top of that and go from there, you could start to see the plan come together. And so for me, I was fortunate to be able to get a glimpse of it and understand that this club was going to do things right from the first day. And I think you guys have all seen that. This training ground is a testament to obviously not only these guys' hard work, but obviously the owners as well, and what the city of Atlanta has been able to welcome with open arms in terms of a soccer team here in the city. So I was able to see that and get a glimpse of that at the beginning, and now to be in the training ground, to be amongst the guys and training, you couldn't ask for much more.
Doug Robertson of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. How much did your friendship with Carlos affect your decision to come here? Yeah,
I mean, obviously, as Carlos mentioned, I've been fortunate to be a teammate of his, and when you're a teammate of someone and you understand how they work, how they compete, and how they go about their business, it makes other relationships a little bit easier. And so when starting those conversations and understanding everything he was telling me about where the club wants to go and how they want to get there, it made my decision easy. When you have that leadership from the top, whether it be from Darren or Carlos or the manager, when you have that leadership, it makes it easier for players to come into a club and slide right in and just go about their business of training and playing games. I wouldn't say I'm the face of U.S. soccer. I mean, I've been very lucky to be a part of the national team for the amount of time that I have been. You never take that for granted when you get to represent your country. So to have those opportunities to play in the games that I have, like I said, that's one of the highlights of my career so far. To be able to represent your country, play in big games, and be a part of something special. That's what we're trying to do here, and so hopefully I can bring that experience from the national team and apply it to this team, and hopefully just help what's already been started from the first half of the season.
What are the easy things and what are the difficult things about joining a team in the middle of a season?
I think the easy things are the fact that we've got good players here. We've got good players, we've got good coaching staff, and that makes sliding into a new team easy. At the same time, when you join a team mid-season, you have to be up to speed because these guys have been together for X amount of months now, training together day in and day out, understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses, and it's my job to try and get up to par as quickly as possible and understand the guys around me and how they like to play, and at the same time, obviously, try and bring my experience and my quality to the team as well.
Martino focuses a lot on playing out of the back and having a keeper play with his feet. How comfortable are you playing that style of play as a keeper?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think everyone talks about the modern day goalkeeper being able to play with their feet. So you have to be able to do that. I've had managers in the past that like to do the same, whether it be at Villa or whatnot. There were a few managers that I played under that really emphasized that. So for me, I'm comfortable with it. It's a matter of it's not just down to the goalkeeper, right? It's down to the movement of the outfield players. It's an understanding of the system, the understanding of different movements. And when you have the guys around you and the quality that we have in our locker room, it makes it easier.
Have you noticed any kind of communications issues or anything like that, kind of with the language barriers or anything like that on the team?
No, and obviously having a few South Americans, speaking Spanish, whatnot, you never kind of know what you're going into. I played for Chivas USA a few years, and so I know a little bit of the soccer terminology in terms of certain Spanish words. But the guys have been great in terms of trying to speak English to me. I'm trying to speak Spanish to them. There's good banter in the locker room. And like I said, when you have that chemistry, it makes things easier on the pitch.
Sam on the left.
When Alec returns, you guys will be competing for a starting spot, obviously. What do you do differently from Alec, and what kind of similarities do you see between you and him?
Obviously, I think he's had a great start to the season. Obviously, injuries are part of the game, and it's unfortunate. And first and foremost, you want a speedy recovery because you don't like to see your teammates injured, whether it's a goalkeeper or an outfield player. That's plain and simple. But in terms of similarities, differences, I think every goalkeeper is unique in their own way. I've been fortunate to work with some of the world's best goalkeepers, and from each one of those, I try and take a little bit from their game, and if I like it, apply it to myself. I wouldn't get into specifics, but I think, like I said, everybody has a unique style, and as goalkeepers get older, they tend to pick up different experiences, pick up different tips and pointers in how they go about their game and how they can continue to get better, which is why you see goalkeepers play into their early 40s. And so for me, I'll look to get better off of him, and hopefully I can make him a better goalkeeper. And if we're doing that, then ultimately the team is winning. So that's the most important thing.
Jonathan Thomas, play first.
Yeah, who are your role models as goalkeepers? Who did you try to base your game off of?
When I grew up, as you guys know, soccer in this country wasn't huge. You couldn't get too many games on TV. I'd rush home from school, being from Chicago. I'd rush home with the time difference and try and catch the end of Champions League games. And at the time, Bayern Munich was obviously a big club and a big team, and they still are. But watching someone like Oliver Kahn was a goalkeeper that I really enjoyed watching. So you try to make your presence felt in the goal. You try to put the pressure on strikers and basically say, try and beat me. And hopefully more times than not, you're able to come up with a save.
Have you had a chance to tour Atlanta? How well do you know the city, and how does it compare and contrast to Middlesbrough?
I know, right? No, honestly, and I'm not just saying this. I don't have a big experience of being here in Atlanta, and so I've been here probably in total 2 weeks or so, maybe 2.5 weeks. My family and I have really fallen in love with it. We enjoy going out for dinners. We've heard great recommendations in terms of parks and things. We've got 2 little kids. There's tons of things to do, whether it be the aquarium. My wife and kids, they went to take a tour of, I think it was Coca-Cola the other day. So they're getting out and seeing the city. And like I said, it's been great. And how it compares to Middlesbrough, I don't think it does. I would definitely take Atlanta over that, over Middlesbrough. But in saying that, I enjoyed my time there. So I think you're comparing apples and oranges at that point. But no, it's a great city. I'm looking forward to continue to learn more about it and interacting with the community and just kind of diving in feet first.
Marcel on the right here.
Marcel Pucci, Sports Inquirer. Physically, how are you holding up? You've had the USA commitment, been traveling internationally, different time zones. And you're going to be playing this week in Orlando. Just how are you holding up physically, and are you making sure has the coaches kind of held back as far as conditioning, or are you able to go to full 90, anything like that?
Yeah, no, I feel good. This past year, in terms of being in Middlesbrough and not playing as many games as I would have liked, whether that helps or not, I don't know, in terms of like fitness and how my body feels, but my body feels good. Like I said before, I've been fortunate to be with the U.S. team for the past couple of weeks, whether it be qualifiers or obviously the start of the Gold Cup. So I'm excited to be here. I think at this point, adrenaline takes over, but at the same time, you have to be smart. You manage your body. I'm 32, so I have a good understanding of how my body works and what it needs and what days I need to push myself more and what days, as we get closer to games, maybe you tone it back a little bit. But the coaching staff's been great. The medical staff's been really good. And so, yeah, I feel great.
I'll chip in real quick. One thing that having the inside knowledge about Brad is he takes care of himself very well after training, off the field and things like that. So at some point he might want to share his full recovery routine with you and his weekly schedule of how he takes care of himself, which is pretty in-depth. And I'll let him talk about that at a later date. But it was something that as he's 32 and getting up there, he still looks after himself very well, and we knew that about him.
Justin in the back.
Going back to Alec real quick, have you interacted with him at all, and what's that relationship going to be like in the middle of what will be a competition when he comes back?
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to sit down and speak with him. There's a thing about goalkeepers. They call it the goalkeepers union and whatnot, and we all understand that only one of us can play, and so it's not so much a hatred or you're mad at the other goalkeeper if someone else is playing, and I've been where I've been a number one, I've been a number two, and so on. And so you push each other in training. We're together every day for 30, 45 minutes, depending on what the session is. So we're 3 or 4 of us. We're training by ourselves, having good banter, laughing a joke, but at the same time working really hard. And so yeah, he's been great. And like I said, you just want your teammates to have a speedy recovery and get back to full fitness.
Have you attended a home game yet or watched one on TV, and how does it compare to the atmosphere in England?
I have. I've watched numerous games on TV, going back to obviously the beginning of the season, and then I was fortunate to be in attendance for the game versus Colorado, and so I was able to witness it firsthand and see the passion and the live atmosphere was great. It was unbelievable, like I mentioned, and so to compare that to England, 45, 50,000 at games, you don't get that at some games in England, and so now to have that here in MLS, this stadium, this fan base, this club is setting a new bar for MLS. This is what new teams in the league are going to have to compare themselves to. This is what old teams in MLS are going to have to compare themselves to. So to be a part of this, it's truly something special.
Darren, can you go back to your days in England? Just talk a little bit of how Brad compares with some of the goaltenders, some of the better goaltenders that you watch play.
Yeah, I mean, look, American goaltenders. See, I'm using the vernacular already here. Are well renowned in England. There's been a sort of group of them, and just to piggyback on the point earlier about Brad keeping himself fit. With my experience at Spurs, goalkeepers called Brad from America. We feel we've got at least another 15 years out of him in terms of his career. But no, I mean, look, Brad's someone that obviously I knew from my time in England, and Carlos mentioned it. When we had the opportunity to get somebody that could help Atlanta United on the field, but like I said, crucially off the field, and particularly in goalkeepers, because it's not just your raw ability, it's the confidence your teammates feel in you, the defence in particular, it's your leadership skills, those intangibles, that experience you get as a goalkeeper as you get to your 30s isn't measured necessarily in the stats, but it's measured in the comfort and the security the team feels around it. So those sort of intangibles are something that we're really excited about getting a player like Brad. And, Brad is someone that's, to have his history and his experience, and I spoke about the parallels with Carlos earlier, I think it's quite uncanny that, both starting in the league, going abroad, and then coming back to sort of finish their careers. I think that's really going to help us both on and off the pitch.
Had your season and Middlesbrough's season been trending more up, would you be here right now? Had you already decided you wanted to come back to MLS after you joined Middlesbrough? How did that work?
Yeah, I mean, I knew at some point I've always wanted to come back to the league. Being over in England for 9 years and watching the league grow, and especially at the beginning of the season when, Sky Sports are doing documentaries about the club and you're seeing the growth of Atlanta United literally just start from the ground and continue to rise. And so when the conversation started and the opportunity came about, it was something that I was really excited about. I was really looking forward to it. I knew obviously at some point I'd have to make a decision. I still had a year left of my contract there, and I think regardless of 1 year, 3 years, 4 years, whatever I had left, this was something I wanted to be a part of. I wanted to be a part of this club and be a part of this project in terms of being an expansion team and really leaving a footprint on the league.
Anything else for Brad?
Coming from a club like Middlesbrough, who's fighting for relegation all year, to a team that's instantly in the thick of things as far as a playoff race goes, all that kind of thing, is that kind of rejuvenating to be in a different atmosphere like that?
Yeah, I mean, when you're in a relegation battle, and I've been in a few over the last couple of years, it mentally it takes its toll, physically it takes its toll. But in saying that, when you are presented with a new challenge, whether it be MLS or another club in Europe or wherever, there's an excitement, there's adrenaline, there's all these little things that play into it that you feel like a kid at school on the first day, and that's the feeling I have. And so to have that feeling here with the facilities we have, with the team we have, it increases it that much more.
It's my understanding you and Jonathan Spector are really good friends. I was curious about that you're going to be facing him on Friday.
Yeah, I've obviously grew up in Chicago with Jonathan, playing against him a few years, and then obviously we became close when he moved to Birmingham City, and I was still at Villa, so we lived quite close to each other. Our families are quite close, and it'll be exciting to see him, but we're going down there with a mission to get 3 points. So when you cross the white line, it's all about trying to win and make sure we put out a performance that we're not only proud of, but a performance that allows us to get 3 points.
Time for 2 more questions for either Darren, Carlos, or Brad.
Are you disappointed that you weren't kept on the Gold Cup roster, or was that part of this plan when you got here?
I'll take it. No, it was something that we had spoken with Bruce about ahead of time coming in, and to be fair to Bruce, he was great about it. He knew Brad was coming into a new team, trying to help him get settled. He stated publicly he's trying to see different players for the Gold Cup to prepare for the World Cup. So we were actually able to work something out with Bruce ahead of time that Brad would come here and be a part of or be available for selection for this game.
Anything else?
Michelle, do you remember the first time you 2 guys met?
Not really.
Left a good impression.
Yeah, it was. No, I don't know. It was ages ago. It must have been with the national team. So, he was a young guy coming in. But no, I just remember. I mean, the things that still stick out for me, Brad, his work ethic, sense of recovery. Good guy in and around the locker room and with the teammates. And as you can see by these characters in the back, Joseph and Miguel, making fun of Brad. He's already integrated. He's already integrated just fine with the group, and that's stuff we need. It's gonna help with the atmosphere and the ambiance in the locker room.
Anything to add, Brad? What do you make, Carlos?
No, I mean, again, yeah, it was probably with the national team. I was a young player. You just try to keep your head down and learn from as many guys as you can. And so obviously with him being a defender as a goalkeeper, you try and pick up as much as you can and work hard and, yeah, just absorb it.
Nice one here, Doug.
One of the things I noticed when you came for training for a few days, a couple of weeks ago, and then Leandro Gonzalez-Perez and Assad said today, Perez's quote was, "You are a talking machine." I'm curious where that came from. Was that something that was coached into you, or have you always just been a guy that's just going to talk?
No, yeah. I mean, hopefully you said it in a good way. No, but listen, as a goalkeeper, you try to have the guys in front of you organized as much as possible, and if you could do that by communicating, whether it be with your voice, whether it be just kind of leading them in certain directions, whether sliding left, sliding right, whatever it may be, because at times they may be focused just on the ball and may not see a runner, a striker. And if you can limit a through ball, if you can limit a pass or a run or whatever, as a goalkeeper, you've almost done your job before you've had to face a shot and make a save. And for me, if I'm able to do that and talk to these guys and cut out problems before it leads to a shot, then job done. That makes it easier on all of us.
Thanks, everyone.